So I don't think I've made it too much of a secret that I think the Pry Nexus mission format is kind of a disaster. So I haven't been taking it too seriously as a competitive format, which means I'm back on my meme shit. What's up, folks? Welcome back to TacticalTortoise. My name is Trevi, and welcome back to another 40k list tech. I'm taking some meme lists and building them out for competitive play. Today we're talking about an ancient archetype. We're going back to the annals of 9th edition and talking about the wolf bots. We're stalking shadowy forest trails, our paws deep in snow, and also we're a robot because we're playing a Space Wolves list including literally nothing but Dreadnoughts, with one exception, although you can cut them out if you really want to. For those who don't know, wolf bots was an archetype that saw some minor success in 9th edition, mostly off the back of the fact that Space Wolves have the most insane stable of Dreadnought datasheets. In fact, they have the only Dreadnought characters. So you can take an entire army of Dreadnoughts with no non-Dreadnought units included. And that is sick. Pour one out for those Blood Angels players who had a bunch of Death Company and Furioso Dreadnoughts. That's a sad time. Hopefully the same thing doesn't happen to the Space Wolves list, but fortunately most of the Dreadnoughts are in fact Primaris-sized already. So what is included in the list? It is a Space Wolf Gladius task force. I actually went back and forth on the detachment selection. For a while it was a Stormlance list to give everything advance and charge, but I figured that being able to selectively advance and charge in Gladius task force and having the flexibility of being able to fall back and shoot with things like Ballistus Dreadnought, fall back and charge with the Brutalis Dreadnought to trigger their charge mortal wounds an additional time, and being able to advance and shoot, especially to get the massive number of heavy flamers the list has into range. The real headliners of this list are going to be the Wolfen Dreadnoughts. For 130 points, Wolfen Dreadnoughts are actually kind of a baller profile. You get that 2+ save, toughness 9 Dreadnought body, but also with a Blizzard shield, a 4+ invulnerable save, and a baked in 6+ feel no pain, making them kind of annoying to kill for 130 points. They also hit pretty hard with their Great Wolf Claw and do a boatload of mortal wounds, especially if they charge. On top of that, they also have 2 heavy flamers. I don't know why the shield gets one. You get 2 flamethrowers on these guys, so they kind of act as your infantry sweeping. They can not only punch big vehicles pretty good with their wolf claws and mortal wounds, but they can also just flamethrow our infantry out of the way of the other Dreadnoughts. Being Space Wolves, you also get access to Dreadnought special characters. This includes Bjorn the Fell-Handed and Murder Fang. I don't know if I need to talk about how good these datasheets are, because they have been good for ages. Bjorn is a Lord of Deceit that is one of the most difficult units in 40k to remove. Not only does he have a half damage mechanic, that's right, not -1, he's not a Redemptor Dreadnought,
full half damage,
and on top of that a 5+ feel no pain, meaning against multi-damage attacks he's mitigating like 60% of incoming damage after failed saving throws. That's nuts, especially on a 2+ save with access to Armor of Contempt that makes your stratagems harder to use. This dude rules. So if I put Bjorners here to do recover, yeah, you can shoot him down this line, basically. Or at least a Vindicator and a Pred. Are you going to kill me with 1 Vindicator and 1 Predator? Probably not. I'm going to take that gamble. Bjorners doesn't give a shit about you. Murder Fang, I think, needs no introduction. He has a reactive attack and 8 twin-linked 3 damage attacks. He does a trillion damage, especially if he's able to charge into something, hit them, force them to hit him back, and then hit them again. He's basically swinging 16 times. Murder Fang, just 8 attacks with floaty rolls. That's 3s into, how many keywords? Reroll. All right, 5 AP2. Where is his are AP2, but everyone else is AP3?
Look down, 3 of them. And 3.
Finally, we kill people with actual attacks.
A few moments later.
And 1 on a 4-up, he's okay.
Now you can
and then
okay,
he's back.
Conquer.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
Billion attacks. 6. AP2. So you're on.
AP2, yeah. So 3 of them goes down.
All right, Murder Fang. The rest of my combined army could not fell them, but you alone.
Yep.
You alone could do it. That's the big benefit of playing Space Wolves. You get those 3 Wolfen Dreadnoughts and those 2 characters baked in. Now, the last unit in the character selection here is the 1 non-Dreadnought in the list. I think we can call him an honorary Dreadnought because Loken Grimnar is an absolute tank.
damn boy, he's thick.
He's basically Dreadnought sized. Mini Dreadnoughts are tiny.
Look how small he is. I love him. He's so cute.
He's mostly in here to give you that once per game hit rerolls. The downside of the Wolf and Dreadnoughts and Murderfang are that they don't have stellar weapon skills, and your army is typically fairly slow. Everything's basically move 8 and can't go through walls. So getting those charge rerolls smooths over a turn where you might be advancing and charging and going for a lot of 7 and 8 charges. You could potentially cut Logan Grimnar and cut one of the Primaris Dreadnoughts to take additional small Dreadnoughts, so there is definitely some flex within the list if you actually want to go 100% Dreadnoughts, but I think Logan Grimnar is useful enough to warrant his inclusion. He also is basically the list's only utility unit. He has Deep Strike and can start in reserve and even use his special ability in reserve, so he can jump down onto the table whenever he needs to if you need to complete a tactical secondary that your Dreadnoughts can't get access to, which is a lot of them because they are very slow.
Logan, you were going to charge, but you might be establishing a locust this turn.
Following that up, we have 3 Ballistus Dreadnoughts. That's going to add some backline shooting and just some solid fire support, especially because they can get themselves baked in rerolls if your target is above half strength, so you can oath a moment something that your weapon skill 3 melee Dreadnoughts want to punch, and then use the Ballistus Dreadnoughts to get their own rerolls to shoot something else. And if you have the CP for it, you can buff them up with Devastator Doctrine and Storm of Fire as well, which is just icing on the cake. On top of that, we also have 2 Redemptor Dreadnoughts. These 2 are generally the objective grabbers. They are difficult to kill with a -1 damage effect and can kind of take some punishment, unlike the other Dreadnoughts. They're going to draw fire for the Ballistus and the Brutalis Dreadnoughts in the list, and they can go up with the Wolf and Dreadnought, and it's tough to focus your fire on one thing or another without any of them hitting you. So between the -1 damage on the Redemptors and the 4+ invulnerable save on the Wolfen, you have 5 Dreadnoughts in the middle of the table that are just kind of tough to get rid of. Last but certainly not least, we also then have those 2 Brutalis Dreadnoughts, which are going to follow up behind those and do some additional mortal wounds. Now, I have played a couple games with this list. I've submitted it to a tournament, and I did win the first round. In an update post time of recording, I've actually won the second game too, so we're somehow 2-0 with this list. I'm moving on to the semifinals next week.
GG.
Oh,
What a game.
oh my god, dude. That's crazy.
All over me.
You got wolf bots. You got beep boop robots all over you. Hashtag Wolfbot Party Chat.
I do stream all my games with these lists over on Twitch, so if you want to follow me over on twitch.tv/TacticalTortoise, please do that. You can watch my future games, and the list performed much better than I expected. Logan Grimnar was a nice little utility guy to score me some points. The list has a very great propensity to do actions because most of these Dreadnoughts can stand in awkward places in the table and really not easily get killed, which surprised me. And with the sheer number of Dreadnoughts that I have, you can usually take shooting off with a Redemptor or a Brutalis Dreadnought every once in a while and complete some actions if you really need to. Otherwise, tactical secondaries were fine, but not amazing. You kind of do need to get a little lucky because you're not very maneuverable. So if you're not in a position to get your maneuver secondaries on the turns that you draw them, it can get a little awkward. That said, you're very difficult to beat on primary simply because of the massive number of OC4 Dreadnoughts you're bearing down on the center objectives. It is important to note, obviously, that the Wolf and Dreadnoughts do not have an OC value. They can't hold objectives, nor can they complete actions, which is a downside to them, so you kind of want to trade them away early. They're your trading pieces. If you trigger a Devastator Doctrine early, they can run up and flamethrower away your opponent's utility, and then potentially get stuck in their heavier stuff, and eventually die and make way for the Brutalis Dreadnoughts to actually close out the game. While I don't know if this list is going to particularly take the metagame by storm, you can certainly score a couple of wins with it, and especially against armies that basically do not have an answer to basically a Chaos Knight level of walker vehicles with a Space Marine army shooting. But let me know down in the comment section what you think about this list, and if you have any other meme or fluffy builds that you want me to experiment with. I am going to have some previews up for YouTube channel members and for patrons in the not too distant future, talking about some of the other builds that I have put together. And since I'm experimenting a little bit more with lore adjacent content over on my Tactical Tyrannosaurus channel, we might try to get some more fluffy and historically accurate builds on the series. Stay tuned for future results with the Wolfbots list. Don't forget to howl at the moon. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. Thanks as well to everybody who supports the channel. Remember to keep it classy, folks, and have happy wargaming.